Yes, a very good evening, Ray. Just let the audience.
Frame 13. Ronnie O'Sullivan to break. Quiet now, please.
Just let the audience settle. And nice to see James Caan there from Dragon's Den. Never miss it. Love that programme. Pretty good break-off shot here, but it's still tough to pick a winner, John. I know Mark Selby has had 2 century breaks in the last 3 frames, but we all know what Ronnie can do.
Yes, I think this first frame after the mid-session interval is very important. You say a good break-off, but I think there's a red that's cuttable into this left middle pocket here. I think what we've been finding this week with the break-off shot, that players have been playing at a little bit of extra pace to not leave one to the corner, but reds have been coming up past the blue spot, as this one did. And he's missed it. But I think with regards to the game so far, I just think that Mark's probably just got the slight run of the ball. I think Ronnie's getting a little bit frustrated. He's not getting in amongst the balls as often, well, particularly as he did last evening against Stephen Maguire. So he's got to show a little bit of patience.
You can see the pot success rate there. Ronnie dropping below 90. That is the difference, and that is why Mark Selby leads by 2 frames. Yeah, the talk about the game of snooker dying. Just have a look round this Wembley arena. Absolutely fantastic crowd here, all very well behaved.
One.
But all getting involved whenever the players are producing the goods.
Yeah, well, there's been some terrific frames here. Not all about big breaks this game. A lot of tense frames. Played that nicely on this red to the right corner.
3.
Black available into the opposite corner pocket.
Oh, that's got a heavy contact there. Okay, the red's gone in, but the white has pulled up a long way short of where it would have done without the kick. This is a tough black now.
Good recovery pot, and I think this red moved just past the black. He was unlucky there. Obviously, if it had had a nicer angle on the black, he could have gone right into the heart of that cluster and brought many reds into play. Just release one.
$12.
And now important. Easy enough yellow. Leave himself nicely on the red so he can get a good angle on the blue, you would think.
$14. 15.
The red at the back and to the right of the bunch might be available. In fact, it must be available the way he's left himself on the blue, because it's not the ideal angle to cannon into the pink, so it must go. And the way he's played it, he's overdone it. He wanted to be on it in such a way that he could pot it, open the reds. He can still do that, but it should have been a much easier pot. So key shot coming up here.
Yes, he doesn't want to be missing this one. The black goes into the left corner, and although he's close to the side cushion, he only has to roll it in to be on the next red. I said Dennis only has to roll it in.
28.
Played a stun run through, and didn't he play that well? Striking down made the pot more difficult.
29.
As it so often happens, the mid-session interval can change
36.
things around. Mark Selby had bricks of 101, 89 and 114. So he didn't want the interval to come. He would have loved to have carried on. This is a very good chance now to
44.
clinch this first frame after the mid-session interval and just
45.
be one behind. We could have an absolute classic on our hands here.
You see,
52.
52 ahead, still 83 available, so he needs 3 reds, 3 coloreds to make this frame safe. And
53.
It's a slight problem now. That's a little unlucky. He's just caught the red and he's left himself hampered on this black. This is tricky.
It was tricky, as you said, John.
Ronnie O'Sullivan, 53.
And he wrapped the table there with his knuckles, but he got a little bit of side on that, which you can easily do when you're bridging over a ball like that.
And I think that's what Ronnie's thinking at the moment. Every little rub of the green is going against him at the moment. He rolled the red in. You couldn't believe you could kiss the red and leave yourself hampered like that. If he could have got his hand flat on the table, surely he'd have won the frame. But a chance now for Mark to get right back in it. Wouldn't envisage him winning the frame at this visit. It'll just be a case of trying to reduce the points.
One. Yeah.
Just looking at the angle, he's got to really screw back past those 2 reds to leave the 2 reds to the right. Well, what sort of angle has he got on this? Yeah, if he screws back, well, even if he was to catch the reds, he'd still finish on the other 2.
Well, there's value here when he plays this red to the right corner to play a cannon on the red that's just near the right middle, because he needs these reds into open play if he's going to try and make this a frame-winning contribution. Played the cannon nicely. So that's one of the awkward reds in play.
An unexpected miss from Mark Selby. Well, the tension is really getting to both players here, you would have to feel. This is such an important frame. Ronnie to just get to be 1 frame behind Mark Selby to open up a 3-frame advantage. This was pretty straightforward.
Quiet now, please. Let him concentrate. Be quiet.
Yeah. Quiet on the shots. Good. You don't mind the noise in between shots.
1.
Good solid pot, perfect on the black, and the black is all that's required. Didn't win it in
8.
one visit, but boy, he'll be glad to get this frame on the scoreboard.
9.
Quick glance around at the
16.
scoreboard. I don't think Mark will bother coming back to the table, even if Ronnie misses this very difficult red.
16 and a frame.
Mark Selby signals to Jan Verhaas. He had a chance to get back into it. He didn't take it. That was such an important frame for Ronnie O'Sullivan, and that early break of 53 takes him just one behind at 7-6. Well, John, that was such an important frame for Ronnie to win, to come out after the mid-session interval after being dominated for 3 or 4 frames, and didn't he make a good job of it? I mean, this shot here was superb. He went a bit further than he intended, but wasn't this a terrific shot?
Yes, and it was a type of shot that you've got it in the back of your mind. If you miss it, you could be losing the frame, but in it went. And as I say, just the rub of the green, I've felt that wasn't running Ronnie's way, but of course that's snooker. And then of course he played this, looked certain to be on the black, just nudged that red, left it awkward and caused him to miss the black, but the mistake wasn't costly.
Quiet now.
There's one spectator will be pleased to see Ronnie winning that last frame. Serge from Kasabian. I think Willie Thorne said earlier he was a Mark Selby fan. He is in fact a big Ronnie fan. And his friend was just telling him that, who was listening on the headset.
Well, the break-off left the red to the corner, slotted in, played confidently to hold for a baulk colour. First chance to Ronnie.
Three. 4.
Normally you'd see Ronnie O'Sullivan go into the cluster, but that pink just separated from the reds. He may just play for the single red here. The one to the left of the black. So if he's thinking of going into him, he'll go into him off the black rather than the blue. As you could see there, that pink just separated,
10.
so it's acting as a blocker to the reds, but a chance to go into him here.
He really does play this shot well, but it's tough to split them from that position. It's very, very awkward, and I don't think he's dropped on anything easy here.
17.
You got plenty of action on the cue ball, but it was always going to be tough.
Yeah, just hit the wrong red. The red he made contact with, the first one, wasn't the one he played. He wanted to hit the one to the left of it. Played Played it into the middle.
Ronnie O'Sullivan, 17.
And he didn't pot it. And the cue ball has finished near the baulk line. Close.
I'm just wondering if he's going to play a very delicate screw shot here to pot that and try and hold for the black. It's a possibility. And knowing Mark Selby, he might just try that. If he can't do it off one cushion, he can do it off two. He tried it, but the reason he didn't finish on the black was because of the way he missed the red.
Yes, it'll be disappointing to have missed this. It was a half chance, and this match could be won or lost by who pots the half chances. So a bit of a let-off there for Ronnie.
Has to be very careful here if he comes down the right side of the table. I'll just show you what he's looking at. With it being close to the cushion, it's so easy to misjudge that safety shot. And the red to the left of the blue, as we look at it, would be available if he doesn't get the correct pace on this. It's a little bit too much pace. Now what's available into this left corner? If there's anything available, it's risky. There's one long straight red, there's the one slightly to the left, but I don't think he's going to bother with them.
Yeah, it's the type of straight red though. If he stunned it in, he'd automatically be on the pink, but he's turned down quite a few this tournament so far. Decent safety, but there is a return to baulk for Mark Selby.
He can come down off that red, get him down behind the yellow. As long as he gets the correct contact. Another red, he can play a similar shot. He might even be able to try and snick it in the right corner and find the same path. Played it well. There's very little to pick between both players in the tactical exchanges. They're both very good safety players. 84% versus 83%. That's close. And we're going to put up the tournament safety success rate, and Mark Selby just slightly ahead of Ronnie.
Well, that was a lot more difficult than it looked. Okay, he's not got a good length with the cue ball, but he'd be happy just to get back to the baulk end. But an easy return to baulk, and with his hand on the table, you'd feel that Mark Selby could play a better safety than the one that Ronnie's just played. And the way the reds are spread, whoever wins this safety battle could win the frame.
might just pot in the left corner. He's playing the safety shot also, of course. Wasn't a bad effort. And he has covered that one that's finished close to the corner pocket. That's terrific. He's blocked off all the avenues. And with the reds open, Mark Selby's going to have to give this one a little bit of thought. And that's what he's faced with. You can see the reds, the right side of the table, but look where Ronnie put the white. Covered everything with the yellow to try and get down the left side of the table.
Yeah, just looking at Hawkeye's view, I'm just wondering whether it's one of those situations where you feel as though you're forced into a pot. The red closest to the left-hand cushion can be potted, and possibility of getting on the black. The reason I mention it is because there's no return to balk that is obvious, and if he can't get back to the balk end, can he get this safe?
He's looking at the other one, John. He's played a few of these type of shots. There is another red that'll pass the one near the cushion, that one there, and he might try to screw the white back into the balk area, but he'd be hoping to wobble this red in the jaws of the pocket if he doesn't knock it into the pocket, but he'll be screwing back with a bit of safety in mind. He's played it well.
Yeah, that was a great attempt. But I'm just wondering if there's a gap here for Ronnie to get through to this red to the left corner.
There is, John. He can get right through it. And there's that gap that John was talking about. Now, can he... If he could play a little cannon onto the red to the right there, he would stay on the black. And knowing Ronnie, he might attempt that. It was a possibility. He decided to stun round the back. It's not absolutely perfect, but he is on the blue, and if he can avoid the yellow, he can get back up to the reds.
Is he going to be on the red? He doesn't want to nestle on it. That's unlucky.
6.
And that's the type of things, it has to be said, that's been happening. And it's a test of anyone's patience.
This is risky because he's so close to the cue ball. He's got to get that cue out of the way quickly, otherwise he could play a push shot or catch the cue ball with his tip. So he'll be sort of stabbing at this and getting the tip out of the way as quickly as possible. That was a tough shot he attempted there.
Ronnie O'Sullivan 6.
Just detected a little bit of frustration there. I didn't think that was the shot to play. He was unlucky to finish there. But as I say, he's just desperate to get his hand on the table and start making breaks. And at the moment, the balls just aren't running his way.
Yeah, it just drops his head there when he's seen the position that the cue ball finished in. But that was a risky one. It wasn't a shot for nothing. He was leaving this chance.
1.
So there was an alternate shot. There was a safety shot for Ronnie, and I think that's the first time he's pushed the boat out in this final. How costly is it going to be?
Seven. 8. $15. 16. 23. 24.
'Yeah, Ronnie was a
31.
bit unlucky. I thought he might have been able to screw off that red and get up behind the green. Maybe he couldn't, and that's why he took that risky one on.
32.
It's proving quite costly. Mark's dropped to provisional number 9 in the world. He started the season at world number 4. And the way he plays, he's definitely a top
38.
4 player. But certainly the way he's defending his title here, he should be in the top 4, you would have to say.
39.
Just had a shaky start to the season, but he's in full flow now.
Well, he didn't get the best of contacts there. I'm not certain that's what he played, but it's okay. He's developed
46.
the red to the right middle.
Yeah, I think without the kick he would have cannoned the middle of the 3 reds there. As you said, John, it didn't affect his position. He still has this one.
$47.
And if these 2 reds are available along the cushion, he's okay. And they are.
Oh, has he gone a little bit awkward on this top red?
54.
He was playing from the red furthest away, and he's got to do a little bit of work with the cue ball here. This isn't that straightforward. $31 points the lead, so 2 reds, 2 colours still needed.
That was a little bit careless, wasn't it, to leave himself awkward on this red. He had quite a margin for error to leave himself with a nice angle.
$55.
He was expecting a bit too much with that. He was almost straight and tried to force the angle. So that one little careless positional shot, I thought he was going to screw it back, the same type of shot, and could have got a little bit better on the black there, John.
Yeah, well, maybe it was that straight. He was screwing back towards the opposite corner pocket. But it was a terrific chance, and unless he plays a risky black, but as I say, after the colour, he still needs another red in the colour. So the frame winning chance, it appears, has gone for the time being.
Obviously those two
Selby,
reds are not a
55.
plant for the left corner. Otherwise Mark wouldn't have played off the pink like that, but that was a very nice 55 break. But a lot of snooker left in this frame.
This is a tough shot, one of the toughest in the game, this. Well, once he missed the blue, it was okay, but there was always a danger of the pink or the blue being a blocker. Well played. I mean, the last thing, in an ideal world, Mark Selby would love to keep these reds as they are, but he's going to bring them into play, so he needs a good safety here.
I think he's going to try and keep two of them safe, John.
Yeah, I'll be pleased with that. Already played, he's not to the baulk cushion.
Couple of reds up the other end of the table now, and there was just one little shot there that this was the shot he played and left himself awkward on the red. It was just a little lapse in concentration. Hawkeye just showing you there, if he pulled up a little bit short he would have had the perfect angle. That's the only problem Ronnie's had with this new cue, John. I've watched the whole of the match. There's certain shots where he has to play with side, with it being a new cue. That takes a little bit of getting used to, and you play with side and it's totally different to your normal cue.
Couldn't agree with you more. That's the only thing to me. And with the long shots, of course, he's turned quite a few down. But of course, when you're in the position he was in there, he had to play it with side to straighten up the cue ball. And he's caught the red too thick and left it on.
I mean, he has played unbelievably well, considering he'd only played for a few hours with it before the Masters started. No prizes for guessing where the cue ball's going to finish up here.
Mark Selby 1.
Just got a hit and hope here. Didn't get close to it.
Foul. And a miss. Mark Selby 5.
It's a bit like a trick shot he's trying, John, and the balls tend to bounce around on these thin cloths.
Yeah, and it's one of those situations, I mean, as you say, he was nowhere near, but he needs to hit it pretty quick because it's a tough snooker.
Yeah.
I did think there was a possibility of coming off this top cushion straight up and down and trying to hit the red. He'll settle for that.
Well, that was quite amazing. That was one of those where you've just got to hit and hope for the best, and Well, he couldn't have got much better than the outcome. That was quite amazing. You just haven't got a clue what's going to happen here. Just to play that shot, playing ball from this end of the table would have been tough, even if you could see it.
Yeah, I know what you mean, hitting the red direct. Now, I don't know whether he can get past the blue here to play this red that's in the middle of the baulk cushion. There you see it, 38 ahead, 43 remaining. He's still got a little bit of insurance, of course. The red on the baulk cushion, the red near the brown won't pot. So Mark Selby still favourite for this frame, but it can easily turn the other way.
Well, he's looking at this one past the blue. I don't think he can get through to that. He's gone round to have a look at the other end, but we can probably show you from this side he can't really get through to that. He's going to have to play the other one and possibly hit cushion first. But there again, he can't leave the white tight on that baulk cushion, or he'll leave the one potable along the cushion into the left corner. So he's playing this one, but he's having to swerve it around the blue. He may have fluked the snooker. Yellow covering one red, blue only partially covering this one.
Well, trying to kick this red up the table coming off the baulk cushion first. Got to be careful you don't knock the brown in.
Foul. And a miss.
Well, I didn't expect it to go that way because he didn't hit the red.
Mark Selby 4.
That was a total misjudgment. He didn't even get near the red, and well, that was a strange one. The idea was right if he had have executed the shot correctly.
Well, there you see, 42 ahead. I'm just wondering about the referee's decision there. Why didn't he call miss? He didn't hit the red.
It's a good point, John. A very good point.
I know he knocked the brown in, but the red was the ball on. Miss should have been called there. And Mark Selby's not happy with this situation. He'd have certainly had the balls put back, or had a choice.
See, Mark, he can't relax here because he needs a colour near a cushion. I wonder if Mark's just thinking about that. It was a straightforward. Mind, he could hit the other red, John, so maybe the referee was correct.
What? That there was a red on and he didn't hit either of them? It's a miss. I mean, I thought for a moment maybe he just caught the red and then knocked the brown in, but the red never moved.
Well, we'll have to have a word with Jan about that afterwards, but yeah, I'm with you, yeah. Well, maybe the referee did call a miss, but I think the boys in the studio heard it. I didn't hear it in the commentary box.
Oh, well, if you did, Jan, I apologise. I never heard it. Well, we've had it confirmed that Jan Verhaas did call a miss. Well, it took a long time for Mark to decide, but In the end, he's not put Ronnie in any trouble here. Well, that might be quite nice for Ronnie. That's not bad at all. I suggest that Ronnie O'Sullivan, although a slim chance, is back in this frame. He's 42 points behind. There's 43 left on the table. The colours aren't badly situated, and he may get a chance here. This isn't a straightforward safety.
I don't know if he can get past the red to just nestle in behind the one near the cushion. If he's got the angle to do that, that's probably the only way he's going to escape from this situation. I mean, that is a possibility. I can't see any other escape for him. Is it hard enough?
Foul. And a miss. Ronnie O'Sullivan 4.
And that's a vital 4 points in Ronnie's favour, because now, I mean, before when he was 42 points behind, 43 left on the table, with the 2 reds he had to get blacks. He doesn't anymore.
Better speed this time.
Easy to snooker mark on the red next to the blue. He needs to get the one he's hitting safe, and he's not got the snooker on that one. He'd be disappointed.
Jan Verhaas, one of the most experienced referees on the circuit, makes very few mistakes, and as John mentioned, he did call the miss, so we would have been surprised. And that Ken Doherty in the studio has got some very good hearing, John, to hear that all the way down in the studio.
Wow, is it one of these where you play a little drag shot and try and get a snooker behind the blue, but you need to get it? That's what he's played. Well, he played it hard enough that he was going to knock the red safe. Didn't fully commit to the snooker behind the blue. But if he'd have played it any slower and not got the snooker, of course, he'd have left the red on. And Mark Selby only needs the red.
He's got a straightforward escape down the table, but he's got to be careful he doesn't push a red on here. And he's made a complete mess of it.
Well, that's remarkable, isn't it? I think he may have had a little bit of a result if Ronnie's hampered by the blue.
What about the left hand, though? This is incredible how useful the left hand is in this situation.
Still hampered, though. But boy, didn't he cue that well. If he's straight, well, he's got a nice angle on the blue.
It would be nice to get the black back on its spot, because the red's difficult, but at least to get from red to the black if it was on a spot would be much easier.
Couldn't agree with you more, Dennis, but can he get perfect on the red off this black? Can he get perfect on the red? Well, it's a tough red, this. It's a tough red, but what a frame this could be to win. Every chance now.
For a moment there, I thought he'd missed the red. It hit the cushion first, but it still went in.
16.
What a turnaround this could be.
I always say, Dennis, that the key
18.
to any clearance, even when the balls are on the spots, is brown to blue. It's so important on this occasion because he needs a good angle on the blue to get onto the pink that isn't on its spot and slightly awkward.
$21.
And the angle that he will leave on the pink is crucial because it's not a straightforward pot in the middle. It would be okay just to
25.
roll it in, but he's got to get on the black. So this now is the key shot. Got to be absolutely spot on.
A little bit straighter on the blue would have been better. He's going to have to, I think, come off the top cushion. So, as you say, crucial he gets a good angle on the pink. So Mark Selby now looking at the table thinking there's maybe a little bit of hope. I think when he played that poor safety and Ronnie potted the last red, he thought he'd blown this frame.
$30.
Not one of Ronnie's bests.
Well, to get nicely on the black, he'd have to take it up into the corner. And it's the corner he's going for. What a shot!
And what a frame to win. And he's won it. Well, Mark Selby will be kicking himself. What a chance he threw away there. Rocket Ronnie O'Sullivan flying to the changing room. He's delighted. We're all square again. 7-all.
Well, this final is really starting to rev up now, John.
I think he was pleased with that one. What a look of determination. He knows he's absolutely burgled the frame there off Mark Selby. Should have been 8-6, it's 7-all. Fantastic match. Pick a winner, Ken.
Oh yeah, thanks, John. Fantastic frame, to and fro. I mean, Mark Selby would be absolutely good. He's lost 3 frames tonight that he should have won. This match should have virtually been over, and he's given 3 frames to Ronnie, but hasn't given to him, but he should have won them. But Ronnie that clearance was fantastic, wasn't it? Really?
And he's not ideal. What a great pink that was under the circumstances. Absolutely floated it in the corner. Perfect position on the black. I mean, this is just under the circumstances. What a sweet pot that was. And you know, you called it, Ken. You said it's not going to be anywhere else but the middle of the pocket.
Yeah. I mean, it's going to go right to the wire. It has all the hallmarks of a nail biting finish, like right down to the last.
Funny you should say that. Last 12 finals, 5 10-9s, 3 10-8s. So Wembley's used to this.
Yeah, 2/3 of those matches gone to 10-8 or 10-9. Absolutely no surprise it's going to be the same tonight.
Just the way Ronnie reacted as he went out of the room there.
It was
a little
fantastic.
bit of a punch.
Yeah.
And the way Mark was sitting there in the seat a few moments ago with the towel.
And he was looking up to heaven as well, you know. But it's great to see Ronnie using that bit of expression, because sometimes, more than most, he doesn't normally use it, but it's nice to see that bit of expression.
Here we go, fasten your safety belt.
Indeed, Ray, fasten your safety belt. I like that. Mark Selby's got a superb temperament, and I'm sure he will put that last frame out of his mind. The boys in the studio were talking about this pink, and you can't hit them any better than that. And look at the position. And wasn't he happy? Just watch this. Go on, my son. It is amazing, John, how many times at the Masters we've had a close finish. There's always something happens here.
Well, of course, we get the 2 players coming to the final. you expect them to be at the top of the game, and in the longer matches you expect the luck to even out, so both players get their fair share of it.
And we did have a re-spotted black in the final frame here with Mark Williams and Stephen Hendry. That's the only time I can remember that in a major final.
Yes, it was a thriller that night, and this has got the makings of being a thriller. Terrific long pot, found the gap. Is he going to land on the brown or the yellow or even the green? He's on one of them.
He'd like to be on the brown, but can he pass the green? He can.
Five. Six.
I love snooker. I wonder, is he a Ronnie fan? Never know, might be seeing that young boy playing in the Masters one year. I'm sure he's a
13.
keen player as well as a keen follower of the game.
Well, if he loves snooker, he'll be loving this match. That's for sure. But it's not all been about big breaks. We've seen some tremendous breaks from Mark Selby, but it's the close frames that have been so exciting. And not
14.
until the last ball was dropped have you had any idea who was going to win it. And I've always said that about snooker, Dennis. Well, we've always said it, haven't we, that if a frame isn't won by a big break, then you're
21.
always, it's going to unfold and have a little story of its own, and the drama just builds.
22.
A couple of loose reds. Just depends how he sees this. I mean, Ronnie normally would go into the cluster, try to bring lots of reds into play. He's got a perfect angle.
Into the gap would be good.
$29.
Yes, and he found that gap. Just about get through to this. Now is he on the blue? He's perfect
30.
on the blue.
Started out the best of 19. We're now down to the best of 5 frames. Will it be the 3 times champion or last year's champion that lifts the beautiful trophy at the end of this final?
36.
That's that trophy I mentioned. Beautiful Waterford crystal. Look well on the bonnet of your car, that, John.
I can't help ever look at that trophy without reminding myself of Paul Hunter.
Yeah, he won it 3
37.
times, didn't he? Absolutely incredible achievement that was from Paul, who is very, very sadly missed still in the game of snooker.
And I think, Dennis, I might be wrong, but I think he was the last person to defend this
42.
title.
43.
Which, of course, Mark Selby's attempting to do this evening. He'll be faring the worst this frame. Ronnie's in perfect position.
$50. $51.
These two stars
58.
had a fantastic battle in the final of the Welsh Open. Mark Selby winning on the deciding frame, 9-8, after Ronnie led 8-5.
Just gone awkward here. It's not a straightforward run through for the black, and if he played it, he'd have to play with quite a bit of right hand side on the cue ball. He'd like to stun back up the table for the blue, but the red that's next to the one he's potting might just get in the way. Got to be careful here.
That's what he'd like to play, but he can get close to canting the red. That's what's putting him off. He just needs to stun in round the back of that red to get over for the blue. And he's frightened that he just catches the red, but he's so good with his left hand.
59.
Okay, he's got the green, and he doesn't have to do a lot with the cue ball because of the situation of that red near the right middle.
$62. 63.
This blue to go 68 points in front with 67 remaining.
Well, winning that
68.
last frame really has spurred Ronnie O'Sullivan on. The frame is safe. If he gets the cannon on the reds, a possible century on.
Will that do, Dennis?
He only left himself on all 4 reds with that split.
$82.
He has made 558 centuries in his career. He's the closest to Stephen Hendry's record, who's just over 700.
90.
This will be his 8th of this year's Masters.
91.
And I think it's the 31st, which has beaten the record of 26 centuries 2 seasons ago.
98.
He's already broken Stephen Hendry's record of centuries at the Masters.
99.
Fantastic. $107.
Nice to see him play a little exhibition shot there off the last colour.
110.
Now, how are you going to get on the blue, Ron?
He's not going to get on the blue, but he's not really bothered about that. That was a magnificent century break from Rocket Ronnie O'Sullivan, and he puts himself in the lead, 8-7, 2 away from victory.
Incredible the way things turn around, isn't it? When Ronnie gets a smell of anything like that, he just clears them away.
Shows you the importance of that last frame. You know, we saw it, he threw the cue on the table, and he had a look of determination, and of course he's got the bit between his teeth there. You know, and how well did he hit the ball?
Yeah, it was fizzing. The white was fizzing around, wasn't it? It was absolutely sublime. And when he's in that free-flowing mode, there's nobody better. He's just beautiful to watch.
Test of Mark Selby now, 3-1 down, 7-5 up, 8-7 down.
Well, he's done it before in a match, and he's done it before in other matches, and he's got plenty of grit and determination. He's got to find it from somewhere. He's certainly capable. I mean, in my opinion, these are the 2 best players in the world at the moment. And Selby's there not just because he's got plenty of talent on the table, but because he's got plenty of heart.
Can the way things suddenly switch? A few frames ago, I noticed Ronnie sitting there and he was balancing his cue, and it just looked like he was messing about with the cue, and you wondered, are you starting to lose focus? And then the minute you think that, he just goes to the table and wipes everything up.
Well, I mean, he did get a good chance, you know, when Selby should have really put the frame away. But he threw him a lifeline, and he duly took it. But he was bordering. You didn't know whether that cue was going to get smashed again or not at one stage. But he's really come back into this match now. He started off that last frame with a superb long red and made a century from it. It's really absolutely buzzing out there now.
Yeah, frame by frame now, it gets so tense. It looks like the players are going to go out. When they go out, they get a great reception when they come back in, and then the tension starts to build as we get towards the break off for the next frame.
Yeah, I think it was a good idea for Mark Selby to get out there a little bit, just to compose himself, gather his thoughts again. As I say, he's done it early in the match when he was behind, and he's come back again. Another big effort required.
Right, let's see.
Thank you. Frame 16. Mark Selby to break. Okay, quiet now, please.
How quickly a match can turn. It doesn't seem that long ago where Mark Selby looked good for 8-6, and now he finds himself 8-7 behind. Just a half-hearted attempt at the plan. The main objective was achieved. Get that cue ball near the ball cushion. And as you say, it wasn't a plant. But once Ronnie O'Sullivan has come at the table and made a century break like he did in the last frame, it really puts the frighteners into his opponent. Mark's got to be careful here, he doesn't let him in again. And that will help. Terrific pot, needs a good kiss on the green. Didn't get it.
Yeah, that was very unlucky there. That was a superb long pot, and then he deserved a better cannon there when he came all the way up the table. Okay, he's got second prize, but easy to escape from. Unlucky not to finish on green or brown there.
Yeah, just come off the left-hand cushion. Maybe a trace of left-hand side. Just got to be careful. There is a red that's in the open. Doesn't want to leave that. And he's at the pink, so that's a little bit careless.
Mark Selby 6.
And a little bit pacey for me, but...
That's Vicky still in the audience, Mark Selby's girlfriend. Yes, nail biting time for Vicky, but you know there's a lot left in Mark yet. He really is a fighter.
Got it right second time. There didn't look to be much danger. Touching ball makes it an easy return to the ball, Ken. I mean, he'd love to get behind that green and brown again, but I don't think he's got the angle to play that. So trying to get near the ball cushion behind the green and brown, but not made the best job of that. Ronnie missed an opportunity there. He just hit that red too thin. He was, once again, that's the target that both players will be looking for, to get that cue ball behind green and brown.
Sometimes it's more nerve-wracking watching, and there's Ronnie's mum there. That's Jack on the left and George on the right, and Maria with her arms around them. They're family friends, and they must be very excited at the moment. Not too excited seeing Ronnie miss that red by such a margin. I think he's got away with it somewhat there.
Well, I think he played it in such a way, in fairness, that the only red he could leave was the one he was playing. But as we've said about some of his safety shots from long distance, his long potting, he's still got to improve that with this cue. But it's a bit of a frightening thought for everybody if there's still some improvement left. And there's young Jamie. EastEnders. They've been bashing the balls round on the pool table, them lads.
One.
Superb long pot from Mark Selby. Terrific cueing. He loves the big stage, doesn't he, Mark Selby? He says that he enjoys nothing better than being out playing in front of a crowd like this. Of course, this is the biggest crowd we have in snooker.
6.
Yes, and they're certainly getting their money's worth today. It was a little bit risky what Mark played there, but it couldn't have worked out better. This is a great chance now. Didn't have much of a one in the last frame. Would have kicked himself for not winning the frame before. But that's in the past, and if he can make a frame-winning contribution here, he'll only look forward.
14.
But the pressure's on.
15.
Played for his choice
22.
of reds there, so he was highly unlikely to run out of position. The one into the right corner, he may have to play for the blue if he elects that. And that's his choice.
$23.
And if he leaves himself straight on this red that's near the left corner pocket, he's got very little to do to stay on the black. That's what he's lining up. If he finishes dead straight, he'll pot the red and leave the white near enough where the red is at the moment. So he's coming around to have another look just to make sure that he
Well, as you say, he's straight, but that red near the corner, I think basically what he's looking at is to see how he can cue without the brown hindering him. But he's had a good look, so he should be okay. Anything that stops you getting right down on the shot can affect the result of it.
28.
Now, has he finished straight? He has. Just leave the white there or just bring it back an inch or two.
29.
Don't bring it back too far though. Has he blocked it slightly? Well, that's a slight misjudgment. He's going to have to make this with a little touch aside, you would feel.
Yeah, I think he can just get through to it though. As you say, he may need a trace aside, which does make the black missable, but I think he can just get past the red here.
He had one earlier in the tournament, you know, where he thought he could pot the black and he got down and or he was trying to pot a red, go down and hit the black. It wouldn't go. And that's a bad mistake if he's overscrewed that, because if he had left the white where the red was that he potted, there wouldn't have been a problem. You see, he doesn't have to do a lot with the cue ball because the red that's on the cushion would be available. So if he bends it slightly, he'll still have a pot and a red. Well, we'll tell where he's cueing at the cue ball if he's bending it. Yeah, he's putting it trace aside. You've got the perfect picture there. Didn't he play it well?
.36. .37.
Yes, didn't risk the red along the top cushion. That was missable, and he's got a nice angle on this green now, just to stun down the right-hand side of the table for a choice of reds in the left corner.
I'm going to put a couple of circles up this time, anywhere near the 2 circles, and he'd be perfect. Has he got the angle on the green to get up there? That's okay, as long as it doesn't run too far. Perfect, absolutely perfect.
40. .41.
Well, Ronnie O'Sullivan in the previous frame put Mark Selby under a lot of pressure with that break of 110.
48.
Look how Mark Selby has responded. He's come up a little bit short here. He's going to have to just nudge the reds and hopefully leave pink or blue.
.49.
And now that's gone in, and he's on the pink. You wouldn't expect him to make a mistake, and this is a tremendous response. The disappointment of frame 14 when he should have gone 8-6 in front, but Ronnie was able to level at 7-all. Did nothing wrong in the last frame, didn't get a chance. He's had a chance this one and taken it well. So just the
55.
red and the blue needed.
.56.
.68 points
61.
the lead, 67 remaining, and this easy red to come.
62.
He won't be too bothered about
69.
just running out of position. He's done more than enough to draw level again.
Well, he played the cross double, it won't matter. I don't think Ronnie will bother coming back to the table. He doesn't. Well, fair play, Mark Selby. What a competitor. We level again. 8-all.
And really, John, I mean, the opening pot that he knocked in, as I say, Ronnie put him under pressure, making 110 in the previous frame. It didn't look as if it was a straightforward pot. The yellow was just a little bit in his way there, but Hawk, I'll show you what he was faced with. We'll spin it around. Now that, you've got to cue them absolutely perfect. You've got to push that cue through in a straight line. He's going to hit the white at 6 o'clock as we look at it. Use the white as a clock face. Cues right down into it. Can't hit them any better than that, John.
No, it was a terrific shot. Ronnie had played what he thought was a shot for nothing, or the only red he could leave was the one he was playing, and I think he probably thought that was too difficult for Mark to handle, but handle it he did. Knocked it in, got nicely on the blue, frame over.
Thank you, frame 17. Ronnie O'Sullivan to break. That's enough, thank you.
Late night drama at the Wembley Arena. It's 11:15. We're now down to the best of 3. We started out the best of 19. Is it going to be 4 times for Ronnie O'Sullivan, or is this man going to defend his title? fabulous match. He's left one out this time, and we know how good Mark Selby is at this type of shot, and there is a gap round the back of the black. He knocks a very high percentage of this type of pot in. That's what he's looking at, and he can just swing it over around the back of the black and reds. Absolutely perfect. Not only the pot, but the cue ball exactly where he wanted it.
As you say, Dennis, nice angle on the blue. It's just those three reds near the black. I'm not certain about their availability. He's playing for the red to the right of the pink. You would think, well, they'll have to go back up for the blue. As I say, it's these three reds that are just surrounding the black at the moment. I don't know if any of them pot. Until he gets the black into play, the pink's tied up. It's going to be hard work making a sizable contribution.
Yeah, they look to be covering each other. We'll find out now. He's coming round to have a look. Don't know if the middle red is available or not. There's one available to the right corner pocket, but well, there wasn't a red available. That's why he went into the pink.
12.
And the good thing about that split, he just about nudged the black into a potable position. So it's something to work on a little bit later. Back up for the blue.
13.
A little bit careless to have come straight. Well, it's a tremendous atmosphere here. And when people talk about it, and I think people keep referring about darts and how popular that's got, you know, I think the one thing I have with the darts is that I don't feel they get enough respect for the players, you know. I mean, snooker's got its own unique atmosphere. Sit there quiet, sometimes frightened to breathe.
I think they're doing the BBC darts. They tend to keep quiet while the player's on the shot.
That was the problem.
19.
If he'd have had a good angle on the blue, he could have got closer to that red, and then he could have got nicely on the next colour. You expect him to pot the blue, but he's a little bit to do with the cue ball. Right in the heart of the pocket. Now, maybe a possibility off this red to the right corner who'll play for the black
24.
in the same pocket. Well, deciding once again to go back up for the blue. Now, what sort of an angle can he find this time?
25.
A good one.
30.
You always hear the boys in the studio and us in the commentary box talking about Mark Selby's temperament. Isn't that proving the case here? Playing Ronnie O'Sullivan on his home soil, and the crowd certainly appreciating what he's doing here also. They're a very fair crowd here at the Wembley Arena. The great Ray Reardon used to say, if you produce the goods on the table, the crowd will get behind you.
$37.
Once again, back up for the blue. And for the second time, perfect.
$42.
Still not perfectly placed. He's going to have to swing this and avoid canning into a red. Try and get around on the blue again. I think the blue's his favourite colour at the moment, John.
Well, that's the 8th red, and this will be the 8th blue, but this time he's not got a good angle. And he's got to go in and out of balk. And the next red isn't that obvious. There you see the angle. So it's all about line and length here. Whoa, if he kisses these two, this will be perfect.
48.
Is he on the red to the corner? He must be. He's having a look at the potting angle. If it had just drifted by those reds, he'd have been on nothing. He's okay.
From 5-all, John, the standard has been unbelievable. We've had breaks of 101, 89, 114, 53, 55, 110, 69. Amazing.
Selby, 49.
And just when he was looking good,
Right, settle down, please.
he took his eye off the pot. Was concentrating on the cannon.
Not for the first time this evening. Just when he looks as though he's got the frame under control, he misses unexpectedly. Does this red pass the black into the left corner? It does. He can play for the black. Now the big question now, when the black goes back on its spot, is it available? Because there's no blue to play for now. But I bet Ronnie never expected this chance. Well, if he's played for this red,
8.
it's through the eye of a needle. The only problem is he'll have to go up for a baulk colour, I feel. I don't think he's got the potting angle on the red to the left corner to play for pink or, well, not the black. The black's doesn't enter the equation. So baulk colour it was. And when that cue ball starts travelling, it's all about judging the pace. So a good shot needed here.
$12.
And that's not the shot he needed, only a safety now.
Ronnie O'Sullivan, 12.
Well, not quite exactly as played, because he was looking to get that cue ball close to the baulk cushion. And the red he played, he didn't want to go into the side cushion either, but as I say, I think Ronnie will be just pleased to still be in this frame. Mark Selby looked to have it won until he missed that easy blue.
That's always the danger. Has he covered it? Has he got a good cue ball? He might have to swerve around the green because he can't plant the red to the left of the pink onto it. Pink's in the way, so the swerve shot. He'll go towards the black with the cue ball if he pots it. Never easy to judge that type of swerve. Didn't he play it well? Still far from easy though.
3.
Yes, that pot on the yellow was a bit more difficult than it looked, or he made it look, considering he played it left-handed. Now, can he play the run through, cannon the red just through the left of the black? Didn't bother with that. No risk not being on a colour. 33 points behind.
I'm just wondering if the red next to the black is potable. If the white was somewhere near the pink, would he be able to pot that red? We'll find out very shortly. Well, that is unusual. I just hope he
Ronnie
hasn't
O'Sullivan, 4.
taken a little bit out of the tip of the cue, which you can do when you miss cue like that. Well, at least he can force a little smile about it, but no foul shot because the white jumped and hit the yellow. It looks okay, that. No damage to the tip. The brown and green are a good target here.
Yeah, pretty good shot, but Ronnie can get through to this red on left-hand side. You just got to be careful. He'll be sending it towards the right corner. He doesn't want to kiss the yellow. He could leave it. Played it well, and what a good line, and what a good length. What a good line and length that is.
Well, that was a fantastic response from this crowd, from that very good snooker that Ronnie played.
We keep looking at the audience and you can see the delight on their faces. They're really enjoying this one, and why not? This is snooker at its very best.
And they know the importance of this escape that Mark's going to attempt here. No matter how much you look at it, you just got to rely on a little bit of good fortune. You never know where they're going to finish.
Could have been worse, but he's left the red to the left centre.
That wasn't easy. He only needs the red. There's Mark Selby. He's got one to the left middle. He's debating about whether to play the snooker in behind the yellow, but I think he's got to take the red to the middle. He's going to need a colour off that red that I mentioned. And Vicky would like to see the red disappear and the colour disappear.
One.
Wow, a little nudge would have been better. The yellow will do. $34 the difference. So any colour. He feels the brown slightly more easier than the yellow. I think the yellow's a slightly easier pot, but he's still going with the brown. But has he changed his mind? The way he was looking there, it looked as if he was going to play the snooker, but he's surely got to cut the brown in. Playing the pot. He's missed it. He's missed it.
Mark Selby, 1.
And he hasn't covered it. I really did think that Mark might have taken the yellow. The blue is the only one that could come to his rescue. The green's not going to be straightforward because of the brown over the pocket.
Got to play the black off the red to be able to win this frame by 1 point, but to do it at this visit, well, is very, very difficult. But what a chance Mark Selby has missed there. Will he live to regret another frame that he looks certain to win?
8.
There is a path round the back of the black here to leave the green for the left corner. If he can judge the angle, he can swing the white off 2 or 3 cushions. Looks good to me. There's the third cushion coming up.
A little bit further away from the cushion would have been ideal, because he's looking for the angle on the brown to try and disturb the blue, or a worse way, drop behind it. Well, they look happy enough. I suppose they are, just for Ronnie to have a chance in this frame. Twice it has looked all over for the
13
Selby camp.
Now, is he going to risk leaving a possible double on the blue? I don't know if he's got an angle to get up close to the blue, to leave it up into the right corner pocket. Let's have a look. It's tough when the brown's so close to the pocket to control the cue ball here. This isn't easy. So it's the blue up the cushion.
17.
And this is a tough shot.
Well, he's given himself a good chance. That was a tremendous shot on the brown. Mark Selby can't look. No.
Ronnie O'Sullivan, 17.
It was never going to be easy. A pretty straightforward safety shot for Mark here. A little thin one off the blue wouldn't be a bad idea. You've got to keep quite a bit of distance. It looks as if he's trying to get the snooker here.
He took the chance. Ronnie needs to hit it, no problem. Can he get it safe? He can get it safe. Good hit, and I was with you, Dennis. I think he had a rather played thin off the blue and left quite a bit of distance between cue ball and object ball. Mark Selby did have a look at the potting angle on this blue, but surely it's too dangerous to take on.
Well, he's back looking at that angle again, and if he feels it's tough to get it safe, he's going to have a go at it. He definitely looked at the potting angle. Where's the cue ball? It's okay. It was a thin contact. But Ronnie has a chance of getting around behind the black, but it's imperative you keep the blue safe.
And it's this type of long distance shot with side that has been catching him out occasionally. That blue is too close to the corner pocket. How's the cue ball? The cue ball has sneaked past the black. So Mark Selby has a good look at the blue. The blue for the frame and a 9-8 lead.
Be quiet now, please. Let him concentrate.
And he's just got to be a little bit careful that he doesn't get a trace aside on this, otherwise the white will head towards the right middle pocket. The natural shot won't take it into the middle pocket if he pots it, but any trace aside and he'll head over towards it. Vicky doesn't want to look at the table. You can't blame her. If the blue doesn't pass the pink, he's got away with it. If the blue passes the pink, he can just roll it in.
Well, I've just had a look at Mark Selby's body language. I think this blue passes the pink. It's a tough one, though. It's a tough one, and he's not perfect on the pink. The pink's just as difficult, but nothing to do with the pink. He pots the pink, he's on the black. As Mark Selby thrown away another frame.
The pink's there.
11.
What a frame to pinch. Mark Selby had a break of 49. He looked an odds-on favourite to take this frame. But it's Ronnie O'Sullivan who does take that frame, and now he only needs one to win his 4th Masters title.
Snooker balls of steel.
What an unbelievable match this is. It's absolutely incredible. Just when you think one player looks like he's going to be down and out, he comes back. Mark Selby's shown tremendous character. Looks like he's going to go 9 ahead. But the 2 pots at the end of that from O'Sullivan, the blue and the pink, Ken, how good were they?
Well, right, it's called bottle, and both players have it in abundance, and that was just a fantastic finish to a great frame.
We get towards the midnight hour and they pull off some great shots, pressure shots.
They do, but you know, Mark Selby has lost 4 frames. Look at this pot. This is a fantastic pot, and it's just held its line perfectly. And even the pink was no gimme, was it?
Well, he's run too far. He's cured the blue, but he's run too far for the pink. And this is a horrible shot into a blind pocket. And, you know, under the circumstances, 8 all in the Masters, you know pink and black's going to get you in front. And what a beautifully controlled shot this is. Fantastic. Under the circumstances, superb.
let's not take anything away from either player, because Mark Selby is playing his part, but Ronnie's the world #1, the world champion, 8 Masters finals in 15 years, is it? 5 of the last 6, 1, 2, 3 Masters titles.
Yeah, but you know what's going to win in this if he wins? Persistence. That's it. Usually it's outrageous talent and knocking every ball he looks at. I mean, don't get me wrong, this is a long way from being over the way Mark Selby's played in it, but if Ronnie O'Sullivan wins this, it'll be through sheer persistence.
This is just great stuff.
Great.
It's great entertainment.
It's great drama. It's great sport.
Listen to the reception now.
Is all about.
Well, we're really enjoying this. Everyone at home is as well, I'm sure. The Wembley crowd are going crazy. And Dennis and John, this is magnificent.
It surely is, Ray.
Thank you.
Ronnie O'Sullivan
Quiet,
went out
please.
of the arena while Jan Verhaas set up the balls. You probably saw Mark Selby stayed in his seat, just shaking his head a little.
Well, we're coming up to 20 minutes to midnight and still a full house here. There you go, just over 6 hours of dramatic stuff. And as a very famous Irish comedian used to say, John, there's more. Do you remember? Jimmy Cricket. I'm sure he's watching the snooker. There certainly is more here. A little bit of a stalemate with the red going up the other end of the table.
Well, the fact that Mark Selby came straight to the table, and it's a re-rack. Or should we say, Dennis, a false start to that frame.
It was interesting there, John, because Jan Verhaas asked the players rather than let them go on, because it was a stalemate. Not a bad thing, because the players immediately agreed.
Yeah, well, I think as soon as Mark Selby didn't have a look to see if he could get through to the red in the balk end and just was touching into the pack, I think Jan spotted that he wasn't going to take a risk, so why not set him up again?
Thank you. Frame 18, Mark Selby to break.
I remember a former Ryder Cup captain, Sam Torrance, playing in the Pro Celebrity Snooker. And he was put in again, and the players said, "Play it again, Sam."
Well, let's have a look what Ronnie's got to go at here. He can hit the 2 reds down the, well, right-hand side of the table as he looks, but getting back to balk is not going to be easy. He may not even attempt it. Now just playing a containing safety. Too risky to play a thin one and get back to the balk end. So he basically hands the initiative to Mark, but better to do that than play a risky shot and leave your opponent an easy pot on.
They've played 6 times, these players. Ronnie leading 4-2. But the 2 long matches that they had, semi-final of the UK Championship, Ronnie won that 9-8. The final of the Welsh Open, Mark won that 9-8. We still could have a deciding frame. Once again, that safety shot with a tracer side, just catch him a little bit thin.
Yes, the highlight of last season was the UK semi-final when they were 8-all and Ronnie O'Sullivan made a maximum break in the deciding frame. Not come much better than that. Well, he's got to miss the baulk colours. He has done. If he'd have caught the yellow there, he may have left the red to the right middle, but I don't think it cuts now. Edge of the seat stuff, this. Well, is he taking this red on, or is he playing a containing safety? Just the safety. Doesn't want to take any undue risks. It's Mark Selby who maybe has to do that.
James Caan still here. We heard him at the mid-session interval in the studio. This is hotter out here than the Dragon's Den, James.
Well, misjudged that slightly, but no harm done by the looks of it.
Well, I think we all need a little safety battle just to calm everything down, John. It's been so exciting.
Yes, and as we say so many times, this opening bout of safety can influence a frame so much. Although, having said that, I bet Mark Selby will reflect on this match, win or lose, at the number of frames he's got in first, and from winning positions has managed to lose them somehow. The last frame, no exception. He was just one pot away on a couple of occasions. No, it's not a bad safety, but if you don't get it tight to the baulk cushion, it shouldn't cause your opponent too much of a problem. Just got to be wary, Ronnie, in playing this safety, of the red that's near the left-hand side cushion. That could be the only obstacle.
Might be able to take the pot on and miss the bunch of reds. Missed it on the thin side. That was important there. Had he have missed it on the thick side, he would have cannoned the reds.
That's pretty good. I don't think Mark can get through to the red to the left of the black, which is the only potable red. So he's got to be careful here, trying to get this cue ball back to the baulk end. Can he get through to the red? No, he can't. So there's no pot on, just a difficult safety. I don't know if he's looking for a plant somewhere.
I think what he's looking at, John, if he swerves around the yellow and just plays this red and knocks it just back up the table a little bit, leaves the white up this end, he was just looking to see what he would leave. And I think that's his choice, playing it with a little bit of swerve here. As you can see, he clearly can't see enough, but watch the white. He's caught it too thin, has he? That's not exactly what he played. He was playing to leave the white on this back cushion.
Both balls.
And is touching both reds here, so another bit of a stalemate. If either of those reds had moved, it would have been a foul shot.
Touching ball.
They're looking at each other. Oh, well, Mark did have a glance over at Ronnie.
Well, he did, and I think he said to Ronnie, do you want to have another re-rack? But there shouldn't be any need for a re-rack here, because there's no red in the baulk end stopping a player playing a safety in the baulk area. And Mark can't get to the baulk end. I wouldn't think Ronnie will be bothered one way or the other.
Is Ronnie just... Ronnie's quite entitled to play a few more shots, so I think that's what he said. Let's have a couple more and see what happens.
It's touching ball.
And there you go. It's a touching ball, and it's an easy run back to the... Well, he's got to escape to the baulk end here, Ronnie, off this touching ball.
He got down there as if he was going to smash them all over the table.
Well, if he's going to run into them like that, they might as well re-rack them.
Right, settle down now.
So boring, isn't he? Re-rack.
Yeah, re-rack him, yeah.
Well, in the end, he decided on the re-rack. I thought Ronnie with a touching ball had a chance of going back up to the baulk area, but another frame that ended in stalemate. I suppose it gives the crowd a chance to let off steam.
Nothing wrong with a bit of noise in between shots.
There you go, mate. Thank you, frame 18. Mark Selby to break.
So for the third time, Mark Selby gets frame 18 underway. Pet hate of all snooker players when you catch the baulk colour and knock it safe onto the cushion. And it's left a possible pot for Mark Selby. It's a Mark Selby special that he's looking at there, but there is a tremendous amount of tension in this arena. Can he pull this off? A little bit too hard that time. He's knocked a high percentage of that type of shot in, but that time he just seemed to hit it harder than he normally does. So first chance to Ronnie O'Sullivan.
One.
He wanted a better angle on the black to go into them this time, but he
Settle
can't
down now, please.
because of the red in the open to the left of the bunch. He would have loved to have had an angle to split them, but he can't do it this time.
Was he on this red? That's exactly what he played. Screw off the side cushion, hit the pink, leave a red to the right corner. He's got round pretty quick. He's on it. Super positional shot.
9.
There's an interesting spectator on the right, Stephen Lee. It was only 12 months ago. He was in this final. That's come out. Well, I was going to say nicely, but now that cue ball's gone close to the
16.
cushion. The problem is you can't do a lot with the cue ball, so he needs a good potting angle on the red, and I'm not certain he's got one.
No, he took the chance because of the red that is just to the right of the black. That was always going to be available, but the fact he's gone close to the cushion now both reds that he's looking at are very difficult. What a shot this is he's taking on.
Ronnie O'Sullivan, 16.
Has he got away with it, or does that red pass the black? I think he might have been rather fortunate. I'm not quite sure. Even if it passes the black, it's not easy to get good position. That was a very risky one that Ronnie took on. But he felt, if I get it, I've got a good chance. But he's played it well.
Well, as it turned out, he didn't have to do a lot with the cue ball, just roll the red in and be on the black. What a chance.
Isn't it amazing, John? Early on in the match, Ronnie wasn't taking that type of risk on. He was tucking him up, wasn't he?
Absolutely, I was going to say that just after he played it. He was keeping it very tight.
9.
Now, Mark Selby has got to make the most of this opportunity to square the match and take us into a decider.
Well, Vicky is shaking her head, John, and quite
16.
rightly, because she knows that he may have run out of position there. I think he has. That was a slip up. Now he's looking at the possibility of a plant, but look at the distance between the reds. You don't want to be taking that on at this stage.
Yes, I know there's a lot at stake here, but that was a little careless to run out of position as he's done here. Now, is he looking at this plant, as you say? This is it. He just flicked past the red that he wanted to make contact with. If he'd have caught the other red full ball, he'd have opened the reds and been on a choice of reds.
He's looked a couple of times at that very, very difficult plant. If it was early on in the match, you might think about it, but he's got to tuck the white up, get it down on the ball cushion, and keep himself in this year's Masters, a title that he's defended so well.
Yes, I don't think now's the time to take any undue risk, particularly as at the point of no return. His next mistake could be his last, so safety it is. So both players have had chances.
16.
They've not made the most of them, and the points are level, 16 points each.
Terrific safety shot from Ronnie there.
Ronnie desperately having a look to see if Mark can get past the green.
Everybody's had a look there, John.
It's so important. If Mark can't get past the green, this is a very difficult shot he's got to play.
Well, there's all three having a look to see.
Hear no evil, speak no evil, see no evil.
We're just 1 minute away from midnight, and the tension is unbearable out in the Wembley Arena.
Well, if Hawkeye is to be believed, he can't get past the green to hit this red direct, so this is a very tough shot. He can get through to hit the red on the left hand side of the table, but there's no return to baulk there, and these reds are spread, as far as Mark Selby's concerned, in a very dangerous manner. If he made one mistake here, this could be his last shot in defence of his title.
Well, it looks as if he's coming off the top cushion to just glance off the red. This is tough. Where's the red going? It's gone safe.
His title was hanging by a thin thread. It still hangs there. He couldn't have wished for a better result than that as we just go past the midnight hour, as Wilson Pickett would have said.
Well, as Ken Doherty has been saying in the studio for quite a few days, it's nice to see the big breaks going in, but this type of snooker is so exciting also. Both players had chances in this frame, both players only making 16.
Thick on the safety. So he's not found the baulk cushion. But I don't think there's a pot for Ronnie to go at. Once again, not the best of safety shots, but is there a pot that Mark can play as a shot for nothing? You wouldn't fully commit to anything this distance, but with hand on the table you'd expect him to play a better safety shot than that and get that cue ball close to the baulk cushion. Oh, is he going to kiss the yellow? Just drifted by it.
It was a pretty positive shot there. He did try to develop the black. He just knocked it further along the cushion, but that's what his intention certainly was there. You've got to be a bit careful if you screw back off this one, Ronnie, that it doesn't send something back up the table again. Use the jaws of the pocket to hold it up here, and he didn't quite do that, so the red did come back up. He caught the middle pocket jaw rather than the corner. He was playing this up into the corner pocket and just caught the jaw of the middle. Similar type scenario here for Mark Selby. He can get the white back towards the brown. He's got to make sure he doesn't push anything on up this end of the table when he sends this red up into the top end of the table, because you'd think the red's going to cannon into something.
Good white. Ronnie O'Sullivan with a bit of a problem here. Player view. I just wonder if there's any red he could possibly try and pot his way out of trouble, but I can't really see one. So in playing this, he's just got to be careful of the double kiss here on this red. Got to be careful of the double kiss. Oh, and he just avoided it. Good shot. That double kiss was on, and he just managed to avoid it, and he's got it safe.
We'll just show you how close the red came to the cue ball. Ooh. Ronnie's Mother Maria and the family friends are now in the arena now. They've left the players' lounge. They're right up at the back in the gods. Will they be able to come down from the gods after this frame? Or are we going to get a decider? It's all fascinating stuff. There's only the green to play behind now. Brown and yellow off their spots. There's one potable red, but it doesn't look very inviting. One into the left corner. And there you see it. You don't want to be taking that on at this stage.
But it begs the question, Dennis, is there an alternative? I don't think there's a guaranteed safety, so he may just elect to go for this red. If he pots it, doesn't have to be on a colour, he can always play safe. But he's taking the pot on, and of course needs to get it. Boy, he threw the cue at that one, and if he gets away with this, he'll be very, very fortunate, and I don't think he has.
No, John, I think the red passes the green. There's a couple of times he's had a go, and I think it's adrenaline and pressure. He's just hit them that bit too hard.
Tried to do too much with that. Should have made certain he potted it, stun it in, as I say. Even if you don't finish on a colour, you could play safe. So this is the big chance for Ronnie to win his 4th Masters.
One.
The tension builds in the Wembley Arena. It's not an easy chance just yet. Pink up the other end of the table. Black not ideally placed. Reds are okay. Will he try and do it with blues, or will he try and get on the difficult black? He's had a look at the black. Play for the blue this time, but he's already a few shots ahead. One of the earlier frames, Mark Selby, I think it was, John, had 8 reds and 8 blues. Will Ronnie stay on blue?
He didn't get on that blue quite as he should have done here. He should have been better on this red. Wanting to screw off another red and didn't find the right angle on the blue, so Ronnie, first couple of positional shots, not what he wanted. Still not perfect.
16.
Played it well.
17.
But he's finished straight again, so he's having to work so hard for these, and he's going to have to find another good shot when he leaves himself on the red into the left corner pocket. If he just screws back, well, he's going for the slightly more difficult yellow to avail better position.
You just get the feeling that he's not going to be bothered about the black. He'll be back up for the blue.
Sure. Yeah.
Or a bought colour. I mean, normally when in the middle of a match you see Ronnie immediately trying to get position on the black, but that black is missable. And I think they've got everything crossed. Fingers, legs, everything. And at the moment, their man is favourite.
$20.
Mind you, when you get down to this stage, it's amazing what can go wrong, but the ball is firmly in his court.
Now this time he could probably
25.
play for the black. Will he risk the tricky black along the top cushion?
Yeah, he has got very little to do with the white to get on the two reds, so yeah, this is
26.
Key shot. Just drop this in and those reds will be available.
You made it sound very easy, Dennis. But in it goes. Now where does the black go? It may not go on its own spot. It may go on the pink spot. No, it goes
33.
on its own spot and it's available.
$34.
What a final. Well, he's got one hand on the trophy.
41.
Mark can't do anything about this now.
42.
It looks like his fourth Masters title now.
49.
Yes, only the red needed to leave the defending champion, needing
50.
at least a couple of snookers. You can see the delight on this packed audience's face. What a defence though he's put up. And I'm certain he'll rue the
55.
chances he's had a few times to put this match to bed, but that's the game of snooker. You get your chances if you don't take them. And the towel goes in. Mark Selby concedes. What a defence he put up. But Ronnie O'Sullivan, he came in with a cue that he'd never used before. But it didn't stop him. He played absolutely brilliant, particularly in his semi-final. He had to dig really deep in the final here against Mark Selby. Let off the hook a few times, but he came through. He's shown his character. He's not only a great potter break builder, he's a great competitor. And Ronnie O'Sullivan wins the Masters for the fourth time with a great victory, 10 frames to 8.
Get you in a minute, okay? Mark? Well, you've played your part today in one of the best matches ever seen in a Masters final. Well played, Mark Selby.
Thank you very much.
There was a lot of effort went in today's match. A lot of games could have gone either way. Tough one to take, I should imagine.
Yeah, it was, but also at the same time, I mean, I've come here obviously defending champion, and to get to the final half seemed was a great feat for me. And obviously, if I'd have gone on to beat Ronnie in the final, it would have been like a dream come true, and you couldn't really have wrote the script. But like you say, I lost a couple of scrappy frames and probably should have pinched a few more, and ended up losing some big frames, and obviously that cost me the match.
But all in all, a good week.
Yeah, very good.
Well played, Mark Selby. Ronnie. Well done, mate. Well, that was a tough day, wasn't it?
It was always going to be tough, and I need to cue well and pot clean balls to kind of compete with Mark. I forgot his name for a minute. But because in the safety and his awareness around the table, you know, a lot of the frames were tight, and I wasn't getting any rhythm going, and a bit of the game there, you know, I wasn't really getting much run of the balls either, and I was fighting my emotions all day really, and then I found a bit of form, and I was just pleased that I was able to compete towards the end of the final, because such a great crowd here, and you know, we're both. It was nice to finish it off with decent snooker as far as I was concerned, and the biggest thing I can't believe is that, you know, with a new cue, that's the best achievement I've ever done in snooker.
But you know, you got a new cue before you come here. Did you see that as a challenge? You know, I've got a tournament to play with a new cue.
Not really, because I mean, it's a nice cue and all that, but there's certain shots that I'm just not comfortable with, and but it was the best of what John Parrish could offer me at the time, and he'd have to get back to work and get me one that I'm really happy with. So, but you know, my friend who's in Bali, he can have that cue as a present because he's been good to me, and that's a little present for him.
But today, I think it was persistence as well, wasn't it? Lots of frames could have gone either way. Frames you were behind, and you kept going, kept plugging away. Well,
you need heart, you need determination, you need desire, as well as having ability and all that. And I needed that today. I needed to be resilient, and I love winning. I love it, you know, and I was just competing. I was just trying to compete all day, because Mark's, you know, a fantastic player. He's won so many tournaments now that it's a 50-50 match now with me and him and a lot of the top guys. But I'm just pleased to have come out on top, and I love it.
Well, congratulations. Well played, Ronnie. Your champion, Ronnie O'Sullivan.
Ladies and gentlemen, to make the presentation, please welcome World Snooker's Commercial Director, Miles Pearce. The magnificent runner-up, receiving the silver medal, the jester from Leicester, Mark Selby. And the winner, receiving the trophy and the title, Masters Champion 2009, the Rocket, Ronnie O'Sullivan. Ladies and gentlemen, your champion, Ronnie O'Sullivan.
Fourth Masters title for Ronnie, with a cue he only picked up a week ago. Stephen Hendry's got 6. Ronnie now moves second in the order of merit as far as Masters titles is concerned, and his mum there to congratulate him. A sensational performance with a new cue, which he's given away, so he needs another one. John Parrott, Steve Davis and Ken Doherty with me. Steve, just put this into context for us, please.
Well, I think Ronnie O'Sullivan put it into context when he was talking to John Parrott. I don't think I've ever seen Ronnie O'Sullivan as animated and as happy after winning. Sometimes when he's won, he's been down. But I think it was a fantastic achievement, and he knew how well he had to fight in that match today against a fantastic Mark Selby. What a standard of snooker. What an advert for snooker. How exciting.
Ken, he uses these things to test himself, perhaps.
I think he does, Ray, but I mean, I think overall the whole week has been such a huge standard, and it was just befitting for the tournament that it was going to go right almost to the wire. And two players played a part in this final, Mark Selby and Ronnie O'Sullivan, and it was just brilliant.
John, just great entertainment. Snooker doesn't seem to be dying if that's the standard.
Absolutely not, Ray. We saw 4 of the best quarter-finals ever played in the history of snooker, in my opinion. We've seen a magnificent final today. 2 players giving it absolutely everything. And O'Sullivan won today through persistence, in my opinion. He kept going, he kept plugging away, didn't have a great run apart at times on the match. You know, we usually see him 100, 100, 100. Today, he dug in and dug in deep.
Steve, he's the Masters champion, he's the world champion, he's the world #1. He's setting the standards for the rest.
Yes, and with a new cue, that is quite astonishing. He is the most brilliant player I think probably the game's ever seen. But you've got to say there are some excellent players around who are pushing him even harder and harder. If Ronnie O'Sullivan's going to stay at the top, he's got to keep his mind on his job, because there's plenty who want to take his title. The standard seems to be getting ever better. Who knows where it's going to end up?
Yeah, Mark Selby deserves great credit.
He does. He really defended his title valiantly, and you know, he's a bit unlucky. He lost a few frames. He probably should have won today, but I think that was the difference. But still in all, he was a true champion himself.
John, over the course of the week, Ronnie was terrific, Mark Selby's been terrific, but other players, Neil Robertson, Steve Maguire, had patches that have been really good. It's terrific.
Oh yeah, well that match I commentated on, 5 consecutive centuries in that one. That's a new one at the Masters with Maguire and Robertson. That was a superb standard, but it's been like that all week. We shouldn't be surprised. They're the best 16 players in the world, and that's why they're here, because they're that good.
Steve, there was a real buzz in Wembley here this evening, wasn't there? A massive buzz.
Yeah, there certainly was. I mean, the crowd also I thought were fantastic as well, because sometimes when there's been a London-based player, they've been quite biased to the detriment possibly of the other player. Not the case here. I thought it was great. The respect they gave Mark Selby, they love him as well. I think there's a new generation of snooker fan comes along that is split now in who they particularly like to see play. I think they appreciate all the players playing now.
Gone midnight. Next up for Snooker's Elite, well, it's the Welsh Open in Newport, then they're off to China for the China Open, and then to the Crucible. Ronnie O'Sullivan will defend the world title, world #1, Masters champion, will go in search of his 3rd world title success. What odds he'll end up playing Mark Selby, who was the runner-up in the World Championship in 2007. 13 weeks to go till everyone decamps to the Crucible and to Sheffield. And coverage from the Crucible starts on Saturday, April the 18th, and the balls will still be getting potted in Sheffield 17 days later when the 2009 World Championship comes to a conclusion. Thanks, guys. That's it. We close in Wembley Arena now by congratulating Ronnie O'Sullivan, a master of his craft. Bye for now.